East or West, home is best, a program about people who were born in Kazakhstan and left the country, but after a while returned to their homeland. Home is best. The director is the heart of the symphonic orchestra, its brain and soul. The director is the conductor between the public, orchestra, and of course the composer. They say you can't learn to be a director, but even if you master this trade, you have to strive for perfection all life long. The hero of today's program is Kanat Omarov, one of the youngest and most promising directors of Kazakhstan.
Меня отдали в музыкальную школу Сарагаче имени Мукан Толебаева, где я отучился 3 года на фортепиано. И потом папа меня перевел в другую школу.
I was sent to the Mukan Tolebayev Music School in Saryagash. 3 years I studied the piano, and then my father took me to another school, a school named after Kuliash Baisitova. It is also a state school for gifted children, and they had a new special saxophone course starting. And I remember I happily went there. Indeed, later in September, I went to school and saw the man who literally played a great role in becoming a musician. It was Konstantin Iosevich Dobrovolsky, a great man. This is how I started learning from this wonderful man. Konstantin Dobrovolsky played the greatest role in my development as a musician. It was not just in teaching me to play the instrument, but think, and think the proper way. He instilled the taste in me.
В интернете в изоляторе лежал, как он приходил, там, само собой, там, лекарства, что-нибудь покушать принесет, это одно, но никогда не забуду, когда он вот доставал свой чемодан такой, дипломат.
Once I broke my leg and I was in the school, in the isolation room. He was visiting me, of course bringing me some medicines and some food. And I will never forget it when he brought his case, opened it and took out some pages with a solo that we will be playing together in the orchestra, and just with this attitude, you get better immediately.
В школе, играя на саксофоне, обучаясь на саксофоне, параллельно я начал увлекаться симфонической музыкой.
In school, while playing and learning to play the saxophone, I got interested in the symphonic music that was attracting me more and more. I listened to a lot of music and I started thinking of directing more and more. And finally, it ended up with me enrolling in the Kazakh National Conservatory for the class of directing. My friend and I were sitting and talking, and I told him that I need to develop somehow towards the orchestra. I need to go see it.
Тогда он мне, помню, сказал именно создание оркестра. В этот момент я уже так загорелся этой идеей, что тут же поддержал и говорю, слушай, давай. И тем более, когда человек, смотря тебе в лицо, говорит, ну, считай, одна скрипка у тебя уже есть.
And I remember he told me about creating an orchestra, and at that time I got this idea burning inside me, and I supported him right away and told him, let's do it. Moreover, when someone is looking inside your eyes and says, consider you already have one violin, and I went out to the corridor, and just passing through I started catching the musicians, the students, violin players. I already knew who does what, saying, look, we got an idea. Let's organize an orchestra, and we are looking for people. I remember that just in a matter of an hour, I got 8 people. The next day it was 10, then 15. We started running the rehearsals. There was one TV concert where they were doing some interesting programs. So we played, had many rehearsals, sometimes with troubles, and sometimes it was very funny. I was doing everything in this team, looking for an auditory for rehearsals, gluing the notes together, looking for notes, printing the notes, calling to everybody. I was the librarian, administrator, director, everything. But of course, I'm grateful to my friends who supported me then, who were interested in it. Those were my first steps when I started really seriously thinking of being a director.
По окончании консерватории мне предложили сразу же место дирижера в студенческом симфоническом оркестре. Я уже с 2009 года руководил.
After the conservatory, I was offered a director position in the Student Symphony Orchestra. Starting from 2009, I was leading this group. We set many good concerts. We went together to the USA on a tour, played in the halls like Carnegie Hall, Kennedy Center, Grand Hall of the Moscow Conservatory, and Concert Hall of the Imperial Marie Theater.
Из консерватории мне наш проректор тогда позвонила, сказала, что вот Канатик, здесь вот висит объявление, какая-то вот дирижерская академия, Тихоокеанская.
One day, our dean in the conservatory called me and said, "Look, Kanat, here's one announcement. There's some director academy, a Pacific festival in Japan in Sapporo." I don't know, on one hand I wanted it, but on the other hand I was not serious about it. Right away I told myself that it was not feasible, and when the deadline was very close, the dean called me again. I came to her, we talked, and I decided to send the application. One day I opened my mail and saw a letter. I opened it and saw a letter from Japan saying that I passed it.
Приехал в Японию и помню, как мы познакомились с дирижером Фабио Луизи, всемирно известный дирижер. Это было настолько волнительно встретиться с таким человеком.
I came to Japan and I remember I met one director, Fabio Luisi, a world-renowned director. It was so exciting to meet such a person, to talk to him. I remember at the first class I didn't know what to do with myself. You need to show what you really can do. Obviously, it was a master class. I remember the first class. It was like a test and I felt it right away. He liked it and said, "Bravo, good job. How old are you?" And he said, "Very good." And it was like this up till the concert time.
Сразу, то есть он встал, он говорит: "Браво, молодец. Сколько тебе лет?" Так, он говорит: "Очень хорошо." Вот так вот все дошло до концерта. То есть мы дали, как бы, получается, как отчетный концерт.
We played the reporting concert, and afterwards Fabio Luisi came to my personal dressing room, greeted me, and gathered everyone together. He was asking us what we will be doing, and when I was about to leave, he gave me his email address and said, "Write to me when you get back."
Уже по возвращении обратно в Казахстан я ему написал. Тут вдруг где-то в конце сентября, фестиваль был в июле, в конце июля, в конце сентября, открывая почту, там письмо лично от Фабио Луизи. И в этом письме он излагал то, что у него есть возможность пригласить меня.
When I came back to Kazakhstan, I emailed him in the end of September, and we had a concert in the end of July. I opened my email in the end of September and saw a personal letter from Fabio Luisi, where he said that he has a possibility to invite me to Zurich, to the Opera Theatre, to be the member of the international opera industry at the Zurich Opera Theatre, and be his personal assistant in this theatre, and also assist to other invited directors. Later, already in February, I went to Zurich, and from the 1st of February, I became the member of the international opera industry. The impression was fantastic. The first day when I arrived and went to the theater, there was a premiere of Verdi's opera Rigoletto, where Fabio Luisi was directing. You know, when I was sitting and listening to what was going on around me, I was shocked. Also, there was my first shock when I heard the reaction of the public.
Всегда выходит на представление, то есть вся труппа, солисты, хор, всех представляют, дирижер, все браво кричали этот. И тут, когда выходит, не знаю, вот режиссерская команда, когда вышла из зала, буквально, как это, такой вот...
I mean, in the end, the whole troupe got on stage, the solo, choir, everyone is presented, the director, people shouted, bravo. When the director of the group went out, we heard a loud boo. This was very unusual for me, and I didn't know if it was good or not. I could not understand, was it really the public reaction? You know, for me it was really something. I saw it for the first time in my life. The public shows that they very much like the director's work. You know, the Zurich Opera Theatre has become my first opera theatre.
Получается, я там был 2 театральных сезона. За это время я помню свою вот работу, когда я начал работать уже как ассистент, когда вот объявляется, что вот это опера, это продукция, там, в этой постановке участвуют те-то певцы. Смотришь, что это...
So I was there for 2 theater seasons. I remember my work during this period when I started working as an assistant, and they announced that this will be an opera. This is the product. Those and those participate in it. You look at this highest level, the singers, solo singing in La Scala, Metropolitan Opera, Covent Garden. You see that you will need to go and direct them tomorrow and maybe correct them and advise if needed.
Но в то же время это было просто сумасшедшее напряжение для меня, потому что был, не побоюсь этого, был, да, как бы страх. Но я очень рад, что именно в этом театре вот это вот все у меня проходило, как бы сказать, всю вот эту кухню я там проходил, то есть начиная как ассистент исправления.
This was my privilege, honor, and at the same time it was the craziest stress for me because I honestly had fear inside me. And I'm very happy that it was this theater where everything was happening. I started there as a party correction assistant, orchestra parties, accompanying as a first violin for the singers, learning their part with them, and directing the band. It is the orchestra behind me, directing the choir up to some of my own performances. I can say I am one of the luckiest young directors to get into the center of what is going on in the world, because this is the place where the best singers and the best directors get together. The orchestra is fantastic. It was great to be at the rehearsals every day, to work and learn.
Во время моего пребывания именно в Швейцарии, в Цюрихском оперном театре, конечно, я увидел очень многое. Эти 2 года были, наверное, один из самых интенсивных в моей жизни.
When I was in Switzerland in the Zurich Opera Theatre, I saw a lot. These were the 2 most intensive years of my life so far because every day you have rehearsals starting from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m.
Ассистент, у меня была возможность очень много именно работать. Не просто как бы вот наблюдать или учиться, а именно в процессе, то есть участвовать в процессе подготовки вот всей оперы как ассистент.
There were lots of opportunities for me as an assistant. I could work a lot, not just watch and learn, but to be inside the process of preparing the opera as an assistant. I mean, when there's no director, if he is on a tour or something, it is you who does the rehearsals. And I was lucky to do a lot of stage rehearsals, working with one very interesting directors of our time. Communicate with him and learn in this direction too. Not only the music, but the way the opera is made. What it is made of, what it consists of.
Это было одно такой очень неожиданный звонок. Говорит, Канат, что вот сегодня маэстро, то есть, болеет и не может дирижировать именно вот этой вот генеральной репетицией. И он попросил, чтобы дирижировал этим ты.
I remember one day there was a phone call saying, Kanat, the maestro, is ill today and can't direct at the general rehearsal, and he asked you to direct.
Хочешь ты или не хочешь, как бы играет такое, что-то непонятное такое. Я, конечно, быстро сообразяю, говорю, все.
You know, this is the moment when no matter how much you are prepared, no matter if you want it or not, you get this rare feeling that is hard to explain. I quickly thought and said, yes, sure. You just can't refuse it.
Я помню, вот как это все началось. Это было действительно сумасшедшее такое напряжение.
I remember I could not sit down all day long. Everything was turning and rolling inside me. I was so nervous.
Просто такое вот, как будто я дирижировал вот спектаклем вот при всем полном зале. Вот это было примерно такие ощущения.
This was like a play without stops. I remember how it started. It was incredibly stressful, and when it was over, I felt as if I was directing the play with a full hall. Although it was just a rehearsal, but very crucial. It was one of the best lessons for me. A masterclass, when such a person like Fabio Luisi is sitting behind you and gives advice, corrects you, and we discuss lots of details during the breaks. I mean, participating in it was a privilege for me. While in Zurich, of course, I thought about and missed Almaty and Kazakhstan a lot. I always wanted to go home. Everything I got there I can share and use in my work. Still, it is a great pleasure for me to be there, but still home is home. It was a 2-year contract, and after it was over, I decided to return to Kazakhstan.
Никак не могу себя чувствовать оторванным от своей родины, от своего дома. Потому что все-таки в нашей стране...
I can't see myself apart from my motherland, from my home, because still in my country, in Kazakhstan, I feel that I can do anything, and what I do that for, what I play music for or direct, all that has special sense because this is home. If I do something in my homeland and it gets feedback in the world society, this will be something I will be proud of. This is part of why I play music.